Let's
Oh,
see.
I think you got it. I think you got it. Let me refresh the feed.
Yeah, it's doing it.
Oh my gosh.
Yes, we're on.
Finally, if you are still around, thanks for waiting. Thank you for your patience. We had a glitch again. So thanks for being here. In a Friday the 13th for real episode here. So I got some questions for you. Are you alive today because someone did not clean? Can strategy spark innovation? And are there really businesses proud that they suck? Well, these and other topics we're going to be discussing tonight on a very unlucky Friday the 13th. What's luck got to do with it episode of Inventor Friday? So put down your lucky charms and give us a listen or a watch. I'm Don Skaggs, your chief cook and bottle washer around here. I do want to mention um, our sponsor, who is. Hang on just a minute. Did I mention we had glitches? So let me pull this up. Now that everything's working again, our sponsor tonight is Windstream Kinetic. You know, if your business is not running on the internet and running smoothly on the internet, or not having glitches like we did tonight. Nothing to do with Windstream, by the way. It was all YouTube and Zoom. Then really, if you're not on the internet with your business, it's like not having your name in the phone book back in the 20th century. But you can solve that. Go down to Kinetic Business. It's business.windstream.com. They're our sponsor tonight. They're the ones that provide the wonderful 1 gig internet service that we have here. So if you need that, please check them out again. Business.windstream.com. And by the way, they were running great while we solved our problem. So thanks so much for that. With me tonight, we have, if I can pull this up now, stop my share. There we go. We have Jackson Broker. Am I pronouncing your last name right?
Yes, I'm Jackson Broker. I'm a college student at Transylvania University. For the last 5 years, I've been working in the marina space and trying to find solutions and how to make marina solutions better. I first started with a houseboat rental company in which I was then my grandparents houseboated for about 60 years. And then after that, we switched over to uh, the docks, and because houseboats were so capital intensive. And then I realized that one of the biggest solutions with docks and the problems with docks is that they no longer have enough space to be able to expand outwards with the US ACE not allowing them to expand out. And so currently I'm working on a patent to expand docks, and I've currently got a model that's going to solve those solutions eventually, and hoping to do that within the next year or so. That's about me.
All right. Also with us tonight, the man, the myth, the legend, Kevin Poole.
That's right. I'm Kevin Poole. I am the CEO, founder of Hemp Cattle Company. I am a local farmer here in Winchester, Kentucky. I also have a hay business called Wildcat Hay. But currently, my main project is trying to put 1 pound packages of burger in vending machines, trying to lower the cost for the everyday consumer and help people out of a sticky situation.
That is about as low key as I think I've ever heard you.
I know. I'll amp it up.
Also with us tonight is Eugenia Kelly.
Thank you, Don, for the introduction. I am the inventor and founder of EK Conceptions, locally also in Nicholasville, Kentucky. During the day, I design healthcare payment methods. Early in the morning from 5 to 9 and late at night from 5 to 9, I design products, hopefully products that solve problems for consumers. I also like to design products that evoke emotion so that it will be an impulse buy. Thank you for having me, Don and Leo.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And speaking of Leo,
Hey,
Leo
I'm Leo York. I'm a copywriter, podcaster, and VP of Inventors Network, aka Extra Network. Look, happy
Action
to be
Network.
here.
We're still getting used to the name ourselves. So
What's it called now?
Acture, ACTURE.
Okay.
And our website, which actually I need to go to right now,
Yeah.
is there's the wonderful folks at Windstream, and there is us. So if you've been living under a rock for the last 3 months, in January we had a name change. We are now called Acture. You're saying, well, what in the world is Acture? Well, it's actually an old word that means actual operation or performance. And that's actually what we do here. We help you light a fire into you so you actually do something, and you don't die of the all too common inventor entrepreneur disease of talking it to death. So that's why we changed our name. If you want to know more, well, guess what? I explain it all in a video on YouTube. So you definitely want to click on that. That's right at the top of our website. We're probably going to move this around some now that we're about 3 months in. But that is our new name. Our new website is actionetwork.org. But if you go to the old kyinventors.org website, guess what? You'll wind up here. So we are redirecting the traffic. You also want to check out all the cool things we have. Empowered Inventing Academy. You can take courses at your own pace. Here's our upcoming meetings. Oh, look, here's Inventor Friday going on right now. We've got quick links. You can become a member. If you missed a meeting, you can see a replay. Of course, there's the courses again, and we also now do one-on-one consulting. So you want to check all that out. Again, actionetwork.org, and we will be just really tickled to have you join us and become a part of what we're doing here. So, all right, with that, let's see. Did everything else to talk about?
It's like renaming of Commonwealth Stadium.
Yes.
Yeah. Now you're Kroger Field.
Now we're Kroger
You were
Field.
Inventors Network.
Yeah,
Now
we're Acture.
Acture. Okay.
Yep. I wanted a name that wasn't 17 syllables.
Okay. Okay. All right.
So, all right. Well, we're going to talk about some inventions and history, and we have a theme. Again, can you be lucky? Does it take luck? What really does luck have to do with it? Put down that box of Lucky Charms, because we're going to be talking about some people that succeeded in spite of everything. First up, we're going to be talking about Louis Braille. So at age 3, Louis Braille lost his sight in a workshop accident. And let me pull that, because
Was that a Tina Turner reference?
What's luck? Got the, yeah, yes, actually, you got it.
Just segue that right in there.
Yeah, yeah,
Nobody even without a moment's hesitation there.
absolutely.
Fantastic.
Let's see. There we go. All right, now, so Louis Braille. So he was actually at the age of 3, he was blinded. And so, back in the 19th century France, that usually meant a lifelong life of dependence. But as a teenager, Braille encountered a raised dot military code designed for nighttime communication, which I didn't know they had back then, actually. So he simplified, refined it into a tactile reading system that blind people could learn, use, and adapt for themselves. So he really didn't invent despite his misfortune. He actually invented because he understood the problem, because he was on the inside of the problem. And so it's an interesting story here about him. Look, there's a carving of him. And let's see, I've got another one here. So yeah, there's a lot written up about this. And before there was Braille, really, there was just in bulk type. And so it was an amazing system that he developed with a lot lot of uses and a lot of help a whole lot of people for a very long time now. So with that, find my spot here. So some questions. So does a lived experience affect our invention process, you think?
For me?
Yeah.
Yeah. Come on now. I mean, necessity is the mother of most invention. I'm not saying all invention, but for me, cattle farming was in the Stone Age, still is. Inefficiency all around. The old adage of my papa did it one way, so I want to do it.
Oh yeah.
That brings comfort, but doesn't feed a whole lot of people. And when push comes to shove, and people get hungry, you got to start thinking outside the box, do things differently. I think there's a lot of that going around in the ag industry. That's why ag tech is a multi-billion-dollar industry that a lot of people looking to invest in right now. Because, you can look around as farmland disappears at an incredible rate. We got to do something to stop the trend, and you're either got to go one direction or the other. Where you start making food in petri dishes, or we find more efficient ways to do it. And that, the more you can do in that area. So yeah, they're still living. The cattle industry is still living in my opinion, 100 years ago.
Yeah.
Because
Yeah.
we're still taking our animals to the stockyards, and though cattle prices are incredibly high right now, and it's being filtered to you and the public, but the farmer's not seeing that.
Yeah.
The farmer's seeing some increase, but not at the rate that you all are paying for it at the grocery stores, not even close. So we're still taking our animals into a stockyards in a country that is supposed to be capitalism, and all we do is cross our fingers and hope we're at the liege of the rest of the system. We really drop off our animals, no control of what we get price wise. It's market rates, but is it
Right.
Yeah.
without competition? Is it really a market rate?
So the bigger the problem,
Yeah,
the bigger the opportunity to solve it and turn it on its head.
turn it on its head and see what happens. Set
Yeah.
people free. I don't know, but that's what it is, at least with farming. You know what I'm saying? So I could, Lewis Braille, obviously he figured out something that was affecting him. He probably looks like it was somewhat of an accident that he discovered, you know what I'm saying, this nighttime communication. It was like, hey,
Yeah.
I don't know if you know it, when I'm blind, I can't read.
Yeah.
Right.
It's funny, nobody else made that connection, but he made that connection.
Yeah.
And that's still the main way that people who are visually impaired read today. It's ubiquitous now. Braille's
It's
super
stuck around,
common. Yeah.
But who knows, back then his journey probably, that's why whenever I talk to people, Jackson or Eugenia, whatever it is, all I want to do is hear their story.
Yeah.
I want to hear their story, how they got there, because that's the most interesting. Like his story. How many people did he go to with this before he got ignored. I'm like, oh, maybe we can do this, or find people do matter.
Yeah. And you imagine doing that in the 19th century?
Oh,
Yeah.
yeah.
Wild.
So for me, I think he's probably Louis.
Oh, please. Oh,
Yes.
sorry. You're French?
I almost corrected people, but I thought I'll wait.
Eugenia's good friends with Louis.
Well, my son does study French, but when
Obviously, I didn't.
when you lose one of your senses, it does enhance all the others.
Oh, yeah.
And
Right.
but still, he created a method for communication, which is I did not realize that Braille is from Louis Braille, and I did not know that he was French.
Interesting.
Oh, some of the things that I ran into with the problems is that one of the things I houseboated for 16 or 18 years with my grandparents, and all I heard was that the people around me they were like, "Well, we really want a houseboat again, but all the rental houseboats are really expensive, and there's none of them left." And so one of the things that I wanted to do was take a trip around the lakes. And I did a lake in Lake Cumberland. I did this trip with my dad. I went and you see all the dock owners. The last dock owner I saw was Willow Grove, and he had told me that we really want to do all the docks really want to do houseboat rentals again, but it's just not feasible with the prices that are out right now. And I had a whole business plan and I had everything lined up that I would love to do, except with capital, of course. Every entrepreneur runs into the problem of where do I get this money from?
Yep.
And the biggest thing is like, okay, well, I don't have the capital for it and there's no market for it right now. Where do I go now? And the biggest thing that he said at Willow Grove, the owner, was that we don't have any space to do this. And I was like, well, okay, why don't I build another dock? And then I went and talked to the USACE, which is the government control of all the lakes around either Kentucky, Indiana, Ohio, and if anybody's ever worked with the government before, it's very hard to get in contact with them. I called 15 different numbers before I got one person to answer me, and they said, well, all these lakes are at full capacity and you can't build any more marinas. So I was like, okay. And so one of the things that I've worked on right now is that my model has figured out a way to scale the lakes without having to use the go out further and use the real estate that they're already in. And so that was kind of the problem is that you have to look at it from every single different angle that you do. The first, the second one, and the third one might not work, but at some point you'll find a problem that will be solvable. And then once you solve those problems, all the ones before that can then be solved in the future. And that's one of the biggest things that you'll see in entrepreneurship is that the first one may not work, but then the third one might.
Oh, yeah. Or the 13th one.
Oh, yeah.
Absolutely. Absolutely. There was a lady that used to cut my hair. And she knew what I did. So every time I went in to get my hair cut, she had a new idea.
That's awesome.
And it was like, Don, okay, here's
I've been
the
thinking
thing
about
I've
your
got.
head for
It's
all
great.
week.
Yeah, right. So she's like, okay, how about this? And she come up with it, and bless her heart, she was. And by the way, folks, bless your heart is what you say in
Yeah.
in the South.
Yeah.
Bless her heart, she. I would like pull up Amazon on my phone and say, I'm sorry, here it is. It already exists. And so but they were all these off the wall things and all these different things. And finally, I told her, I said, you know what? I said, you need to invent something where you live. I said, where the stuff around you. I said, you're dealing with because she did like women's hair and all these beauty products and all that. And lo and behold, she did come up with
I'll be
something
darned.
very,
That's what
very
I was hoping to
interesting.
be coming.
Yes.
A better comb.
But it
What was
was, yeah. She built a better comb or whatever it was. But I think there's something to that is, the problems around you that are close to you sometimes are the ones that, yeah, you're the most apt to solve.
Yeah.
That was certainly Louise'
Yes,
path.
absolutely. All right, let's move on to the next one. I think that's Eugenia.
It is. If you want to share Miss Stephanie Bullock,
Yes, I can.
and I will share my mug for everyone.
Well.
Dawn allows us to choose our topics, and there were 2 female inventors in our Friday the 13th unlucky feature. And this gal here, she lived to be 90. She is a chemist and she works for DuPont Chemical. She's since passed away. She is known for finding the polymer that resulted in Kevlar, and our bulletproof vest is the main benefactor of the compound, the polymer Kevlar. So that's the end of the story, but I want to peel it back to the beginning of the story where this young lady, she is such a pioneer. She was born in 1923. She passed away 2014. Her discovery of this polymer was in 1965. Her father was a botanist, but not by trade, and she spent a lot of time with him learning about nature, everything outside, almost like becoming a scientist in her backyard. Her mother was a seamstress. And her parents are immigrants of Poland. Her mother told her that you have perfectionism too much. You can never be a costume designer or designer of clothing like her mother was. She said, you have too much of a perfectionism. And she said, okay, well, I want to be a physician. It was during World War II that she went to work for DuPont after graduating from college in order to save money so that she could go to medical school. When she interviewed at DuPont, the reason why there were openings was because there were so many men serving in the war. She interviewed very well. They gave her the typical song and dance of, we'll get back to you in 2 weeks. To which she replied, can you let me know sooner because I have another offer and I need to make a decision. The gentleman who was interviewing her called in his secretary and dictated her offer letter on the spot. The reason why she accepted, I love this. This is 1946. This was when my mother was born. That was when she started working there. She took the job at DuPont over the other employer because they paid men and women the same. So her goal was to save enough money and go to medical school. But something happened. She fell in love with being a chemist. She was given the task of the reason why it's in this feature. It was unlucky because she was given the task of something very boring, and it was basically a career sidetrack. They wanted her to come up with a more flexible, light polymer for tires to enhance the gas mileage. As part of that, she noticed the byproduct was very cloudy, but it was very thin, and it surprised her. She was not expecting it to see that. She asked her lab partner to put it through their equipment, and he said no. But what do you think she did? She persisted. She didn't take no for an answer. And I watched an interview with her. She talked about how they were so surprised that when they put this milky substance through that spin cycle, that it produced what is today Kevlar.
Wow.
And she said they got so excited that they knew right then and there that they had discovered something that had never existed. And they were just very, very happy. The usage for Kevlar beyond the bulletproof vest is definitely tires is part of that. And then helmets, protective gear. Anybody else have anything in mind about what Kevlar is made out of or made for?
It's
You
also
answered,
very heat resistant.
yeah. You answered my question. Did it ever make it in the tires? It did.
It did.
Yeah.
It did.
Oh.
In all, she had 28 patents. She is in the Hall of Fame for inventing. To give a precursor to who I will talk about soon, she also contributed to the invention of spandex.
Oh.
Save it. Don't.
She had a
Don't.
40-year career at DuPont and was considered a pioneer. She was very pro education for young girls and lived a very long life. And I saw pictures of her when she was younger and she was very stylish. She's itty bitty, but she was just a smart chickadee. For those of us thinking about this story about Miss Stephanie, have you ever dismissed unimportant work too quickly?
I think everybody's done that. The problem is, I guess you don't really know until it comes back and shows you. You probably just miss
Happy
stuff.
accidents.
Well, you just miss stuff all the
Yeah.
time,
Yeah,
you know.
yeah,
You're always judging and constantly seeing or whatever. I mean,
it's
and
hard
until
to-
the light bulb goes on, and or somebody just says, "Oh, that's it." You're like, "Huh," you know. We're all just a bunch of people walking around with our own agendas.
Mm.
I remember working on a prototype, and I tried like 57 different things, and nothing was working at all. And I had a piece of junk that was sitting over in the corner of the room that I'd just been ignoring. And I was looking at it from across the room. And suddenly, this was when the inspiration hit. And I thought, huh, I could do it that way. But I dismissed it all before. It was like, no, this is just junk over here. But yeah, it's
I mean, the first iteration, like he was talking about, never the first one you
Mhm.
go with.
Yeah.
Um, back in the day when I was inventing Farm Huggy,
Mm-hmm.
I used to take him to my father. He'd destroy it because he was an engineer,
Mm-hmm.
and he was just like, "That's crap. Go back to the drawing table and do it again." You know. And then you just keep going over and over and over, and eventually you get to where it's honed into where you think you got something and you still don't have it, but you're close.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, be told that you're not, you know, she was obviously an incredible scientist that was doing things that, she wouldn't have gotten that project if she wasn't respected, to try to figure out,
Yeah. She
So
didn't let her ego get in the way.
Yeah,
She didn't
yeah.
dismiss the project as a sidetrack, and as such, stuck with it and stuck
Yeah.
with the consequence of it, the unintended consequence. That I think was the biggest lesson, really, that she didn't just fixate on the main prerogative. She saw this unintended effect and wanted to learn more.
yeah, you don't see it until you see it,
Mm-hmm.
I think we do
Yeah.
that daily.
Yeah.
Daily. I mean,
We do.
if it doesn't affect you or it doesn't, so you have a tendency not to see it.
Yeah. It's hard to cut out all the noise.
Yeah.
Because you're just bombarded, especially nowadays. It's just everything from every direction. Your phone's going off, and you don't. You're not as apt to pay attention to the little things, I think.
And it's some things speak to other people, let other people, and you don't know until it's out there.
Yep.
And that's why this journey is so hard and why we need mental health.
Inventor therapy.
Inventor therapy.
Inventor therapy.
One last question about Miss Stephanie here. How do curiosity and courage intersect in innovation? I would also add imagination. Imagination, curiosity, and
Well, I like curiosity and courage better than imagination's obvious, I think, in my opinion, when it comes to invention. You have to imagine it first. So, but curiosity and courage, you know, to step into something that you don't know. I think she was obviously. I think there's a lot more people when it comes to inventing stuff that are more courageous and more, but she definitely checks the curiosity box. I mean, she was given a
Mhm.
task to do something. She's obviously very educated in what she was doing. She walked into this with kind of looking for, obviously, she was looking for, strength and through design, So she was sent on this task, but in most people's journey, you know, courage, that's a little underrated. That's hard.
It is.
It's hard
Yeah.
to do.
It is. Most people
Yeah,
would just.
Am I right? Am I right by saying that the courage is
Yeah.
to take that
Yeah.
jump?
It reminds me of there's these sociological experiments where they'll have one person in a room and they don't know everybody else is planted. Everybody else is a plant. and they'll have an obvious answer, that's asked, something like, what's the answer to this math problem? And it's really easy. The answer's 9. It's very obvious. And the person who is being tested will say the correct answer, but everyone else in the room who is a plant will say an incorrect answer. And the test is to see if they stick with the, oh, no, it is absolutely this answer or not. And most people fail that. And I
Oh, they'll
think in
walk
her
back.
case, she passed it with flying colors. She didn't let her lab partner's dismissiveness dictate what she ultimately did.
I think one of the other things is that with courage is that you saw this with Stephanie is that in the 1940s, women were not as respected as they are now today. And to go ahead and do something that somebody has already told her no is something bold that not many people actually do. And you see this a lot with inventors and entrepreneurs is that at a young age, they'll come up with an idea that nobody thinks that would actually work. Like Scrub Daddy is a good one. Is that you see this random sponge with a smiley face on it. He originally only had the 2 eyes at first, and he had made it for washing his hands. And at one point, he wanted to wash dishes sooner, and he put a smiley face on it and patented it. Now today it's $1 billion market. Took over the sponge industry and everything, and you see this with every single entrepreneur. They have a story behind them.
Mm-hmm.
Everybody laughed at me at first, and then now they're a billionaire or a millionaire at this point. So
I've got one on my sink.
I think everybody here has one. Right
Yeah.
now, so
Yeah, it's pretty amazing. It's yeah, courage is a big thing. I mean, especially when everybody tells you something wrong with it. Or usually when I'll talk to inventors and entrepreneurs, they'll have their family that'll say one of 2 things. They'll say either this is great, whether it is or not. Oh, because they don't want to hurt their feelings. Or I've seen them where it's the opposite. And it's like, what do you think you're doing with that? That's nothing. And they'll just like destroy it. And both, to me, both are wrong because they're not really the customer. When you're in a relationship with somebody, it's going to color the feedback, I think.
yeah, and I want to add to that is that a lot of people are very disappointed by the fact that they get critique on all the stuff that they do, and critique is not always a bad thing.
No.
It's always good to have somebody who's uplifts you, but if you have too many of those people do that, then you're going to come up with an idea that may not work, and because you didn't have somebody tell you that sucks. Yeah, you're not going to get as far as you think you will, and having somebody to tell you this sucks and find something that solves the problem that they told you that sucked is a great way to achieve
Right.
what you need to go to.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's, not to be the materialistic person in the group, but courage normally follows with money.
Mm-hmm.
Putting your money where your mouth is also a hard journey for all people that invent, so that, like I said,
Yeah.
I want to go back to the first question that we asked, how often do we dismiss an unimportant work? My dad and I were having a conversation earlier, and when I was in high school, I always hated school, and I still kind of do. And I'm sure a lot of people could say the same. But geometry, I was taking geometry, so I'm like, I don't know when I'm ever going to use this. And in my model, it is the main clause. And I had no idea, and my dad and I spent like an hour or 2 just trying to explain it to me on how this certain equation works. And to this day, I'm like, oh, okay. And he's gonna tell me about that for the rest of my life. Well deserved, yeah.
Remember that product that really took off? Well, that was geometry. Yeah, you'll never live that down. Oh, yeah, absolutely. Leo, do you have the next one, I believe?
Yep. I'm going to be talking about Sir Alexander Fleming. And first of all, what a fascinating guy. He was born in Scotland in the late 19th century, ended up going to St. Mary's Medical School at London University, and was studying medicine, was really fascinated with disease in general, epidemiology, but all that came to a, in this case, unlucky but lucky halt when World War I broke out. So he ended up being part of the Army Medical Corps as a captain in World War I. And his big fixation with bacterial action in blood ended up being really useful, because one of the big things that is a problem in war is the spreading of disease. So he was able to actually continue a lot of research that he probably wouldn't have been able to do at home. And in 1921, he actually discovered lysozyme, which is what he called it. And all it is it's a substance that the immune system produces that destroys bacteria. So he starts titrating it, isolating it. And from there, it didn't really take off a lot, but it ended up, that titration method and that isolation method ended up being very fortunate, because in 1928, he was studying influenza, and he had a petri dish of, healthy tissues that he'd given influenza to. Well, he forgot to clean, and it ended up getting contaminated with, a compound. So normally this would be like, oh, well, there's mold in the dish, I better throw it out. But he didn't. He actually saw that this mold had stopped the spread of influenza. And so he tested it out on other things. He tested it on a staphylococcus plate. Same thing happened. So he used the same titration method that he used, and realized this is really potent. So he even ended up diluting this compound 800 times, just to see how many times it would take for it to not have an effect. 800 times. So this was the active substance of penicillin. And that's like, just the fact that he didn't clean his lab one day, that's some bad luck, but we're all probably alive because of it. Because how many of us have ever gotten a bug that, needed antibiotics to get rid of it? So just absolutely amazing. And similarly, just a couple of decades later, in like 48, they were trying to isolate stronger iterations of penicillin. And as luck would have it, one of the researchers was at a farmer's market in Peoria, Illinois, and found some moldy cantaloupe, recognized it for what it was, and that ended up being the baseline for a lot of modern antibiotics. It was literally just a stroke of good luck, just spotting a moldy cantaloupe shopping for produce. So that
Wow.
begs the question,
Is it
or a couple of
amoxicillin, I guess?
questions, Morak. Do what?
I mean, all these new antibiotics they all have "cillin" on the end, so it's amoxicillin
That's
or
right. They're all fungal
they're all, yeah,
derivatives.
yeah.
Yeah. Um, but yeah, how many mistakes do we discard without examining like a potential value in it? Because I mean, everybody makes mistakes every day. How many of those mistakes could be something amazing?
We should evaluate our mistakes. Yes.
Mm,
Yeah. Sure, there's plenty that get unexamined.
yeah.
I think a lot of, and I think this is really the superpower I think that a lot of the inventors and entrepreneurs out there have, and that's that they'll take something, a problem, and everybody's just like banging their head against it, and it's just always okay, this won't work, this won't work, this won't work, and then they'll take the box, they'll turn it another way that nobody's looking at it, or they'll just reverse it. They'll just do something completely different that everybody else would dismiss and say, no, that's mold. Get away from that. That's awful stuff. But moldy cantaloupe. Who would have guessed?
Absolutely. Well, the other question I have, it was brilliant 1990s philosopher Vanilla Ice who said, "Stop, collaborate, and listen." In a similar note, what about slowing down to accelerate? How might slowing down actually accelerate discovery?
Yeah.
Anybody got any thoughts on that?
Oh, one of the things that I've noticed with me is that I tend to obsess over the problem at hand and getting the thing done that I want to get done in order to get to the money faster, which I think a lot of people want. Money tends to help a lot of things, but at the same time, if you don't slow down, you tend to not get the money that you want. And so looking at the problem and just taking a break from it, which is what I need to work on, and I'm sure a lot of the other entrepreneurs and inventors work on too, is just like taking a step back and being like, okay, well, what do we do in order to get this problem solved? And go around to the people that you know who have had something similar happen to them, and what their mistakes were, asking them what the mistakes were, and then fixing those problems based off of the advice that they give you.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
we're just like sponges.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know, we're the sum of everything we've ever heard or done. And, you know, I mean, if I hadn't, you know, asked stupid questions, I don't think I'd be halfway through the system of development that I've been done. Or, I mean, the vending machine idea came from sitting in a store without air conditioning, and I started wondering why there's always different farmers every time you go to a farmer's market. Why do they not stick around? Why does it seem like you never run into the same, maybe 1, 2 years, maybe 3 years max? It's because farmers are too busy farming,
Mm-hmm.
and they start realizing that sitting around on their Fridays, Saturdays, Sundays in a farmer's market is not worth the time. So what ends up happening is most of the people that are sitting in your farmers markets are not people that are actually raising the animals. They're middling. They're buying other people's animals, and they're fattening them up, and then they're selling them as their own animals. So they're acting as the grocery chain. They're actually as the final link in the store process. They're not actually raising the animals themselves. Well, me being somebody who was sitting in a store and being like, I really need to be out in the field doing what I'm supposed to be doing. I was like, how can I do both? And that's where the vending machine started coming from. You know, I was like, I I get to choose my own price points. I get to sell as much as I want to sell. I get to, for the most part, of the initial investment in the vending machine, keep 100% of the profits
Mm-hmm.
on a retail basis. I can control price point. I can control distribution. I can, you know. So I started that it all because of just sitting around going, I need to be farming.
Yeah.
You know, that was, you know, just plain and simple. You know, and it only came from me slowing down. I mean, sitting around with my head going like, okay, well, now I'm starting to see why. And the other thing I realized was, what product do I want to put in the vending machines themselves? I didn't, until you start marketing uh, beef directly to the public, you don't realize this until you've gone down the rabbit hole. Is that when you harvest an animal, up to 60 to 70% of it can be burger. So the reason why steaks are priced so high is because 30% of the animal is considered the loin part of the point, which is all the steaks that everybody wants to pay high dollar for. But the bottleneck in the whole industry is the burger. So what would happen if you could move burger faster than everything else? I don't know. I'll let you know. I don't know what's going to happen. I don't know.
You almost think if it's burger, if I go up to a vending machine, I think I would want a bunch of burgers.
No, I mean, be like if you could move it faster
Mm-hmm.
on a more on a
Yeah.
level, and you take that bottleneck out,
Mm-hmm.
that means steaks will go down.
Mm-hmm.
That means burger prices will go down. You know what I'm saying? The farmer actually receives 100% of the actual, and it can be copied. I'm not patenting vending machines. I'm just trying to show that it's possible. I mean, this could be pork, chicken, any ground product you can put into a vending machine can all be done this way. Um, we just got to fight the battle of, you know, will people uh, will people stop confusing fresh with thawed?
Yeah. That is, and when you pointed
That's
that
my
out to
main.
me for the first time, I thought, You mean the fresh in the grocery store is not fresh?
That's like assuming all seafood came to Kentucky thawed out.
Fresh off the boat?
Yeah. Yeah, so we got to stop confusing fresh with thawed. You know, just because it made it to Kentucky, you know, there's nothing more fresh than buying it directly from the farmer, even frozen.
Mhm.
So that's my main battle. But I would have known that if I wasn't sitting there with time on my hands in a farmer's market. I would have never met you, Don.
That's right. That's right.
And now here we are.
But I mean, just the fact that you can slow down. I think, Paul Harvey used to say this. Sometimes we're overrunning our own headlights.
Yeah.
Where you're going too fast and you don't stop, you don't think.
Mhm.
And the answer is sitting right in front of you, but you can't sit still long enough to actually see it.
I mean, on my journey at least, I've been very lucky since I'm in the ag field and on a farm, which is basically like a big, experimental station.
Mm-hmm.
And I also was very lucky to have, access with, my mom and my uncle owning the farm and,
Mhm.
and doing all that stuff. So I was looking for answers, trying to save my family farm. And I was lucky enough to have people that were, if you want to say it, not paying attention, and I was able to kind of
Pay
operate
attention.
carte blanche, without, what I'm saying, and
Mhm.
because they trusted me.
Mhm.
So, a lot of stuff came from that,
Yeah.
and I'm hoping it ends up being, helping a lot of
You
people.
invented where you live too.
I did. I was, it's like one big experiment. And like I said, agriculture is really stuck in the mud with the inefficiency. So,
Yeah.
so there was just so much to do.
Huge opportunities.
Yeah.
Is the featured inventor?
Um,
Well, that covers me. You're up, Don.
all right. Am I up next?
Check in with her.
I'll
Yep.
check.
Don gets the stuff.
Yes. Okay, so this next one is about James Dyson. So in the 1990s, James Dyson spent years building vacuum prototypes. And I really didn't know this, I didn't know this article, but it was over 5,000. And guess what? Everyone failed. So manufacturers rejected him repeatedly, and he just about ran out of money. But instead of treating it as a failure, as evidence to quit, no, he treated it as data points. And the result was the bagless vacuum cleaner that we know today. And a global design company. Yeah, I don't know if you've been in one of those restrooms now where they've got the automatic Dyson hand dryers, where you actually stick your hand under a blade of air and it dries your hands. So he's really branched out. But how did he start? He started with the belief that failure was not the opposite of success. It was in the process. 5,126 prototypes is how many he did. And there was another article here that was kind of interesting. He said later he went on to say that he lived a life of failure. Now you'd think that would just be like the exclamation of a despondent person, but he said people ought to get used to trial and error, and because that is how he did it, and he didn't start with a lot of money. He didn't start with a lot of things. I've actually got a picture here. And I love this picture because, and I'll use it in a lot of courses we teach. This is James Dyson's first prototype of a vacuum cleaner. So you can see the duct tape, and it's an old Hoover upright vacuum cleaner. I think we actually have one upstairs, or had one upstairs that looks similarly to that tape and all. And this was a great post I saw on LinkedIn. It says, this is how it started and this is how it's going. So absolutely, that's James Dyson. It's pretty remarkable, but all these people think, well, it just takes so much. It takes so much, but a lot of times, all it's going to really take is tenacity. So persistence, as they say in what was that movie?
Founder.
The Founder. Love that movie.
Persistent.
So with that, so how does reframing failure, you think, changes?
You just gotta
I don't-
group, come up with another plan,
Mm-hmm.
I mean, you don't learn from anything from when you're right most of the time.
Yeah.
You learn from your failures. It's pretty obvious. I mean, that's why I think that's what he was not trying to be Debbie Downer. I think he was trying to say that's what you got to do.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, Jackson's going to have to fail multiple times before he gets his dock, and he may never get there. But if he's with persistence and
Or it could lead to something.
who knows? He's going to fall down a rabbit hole,
Mm-hmm.
which he's already in, and it could take a sidetrack to something completely different that he never saw coming.
Yep. Exactly.
You might not be able to lift boats up into a tower of skyscraper of boats where people live, whatever. But you might walk into a loophole in the law that allows you to build something else, or you just don't know.
That's the excitement of it. I mean, it's exciting when you look back at it. When you're going through it, you're like, oh crap, what's going on?
Uh-huh.
but yeah, I mean, it's the excitement of, okay, this didn't work, oh look, this worked. This or now I'm going in this whole
It could
different
morph into
direction.
something completely else.
Absolutely.
Completely something else.
Yeah.
I mean,
You might start with boats and end up with airplanes.
you're looking at yeah, I'm serious. You don't know until you go down, but it's fun. It keeps you, sharp,
Mm-hmm.
and then you'll find out. You'll find out real quick. I mean, I've obviously have lots of inventions that are part of my system that I've used, but I'm going to tell you after I started selling Farm Huggy and whatnot, I thought I had the invention that was going to define my life, and it's still there, but my life is being determined by these vending machines. You know what I'm saying? Because I never would have thought that. I'm using it, as a Trojan horse, to make everybody listen to all the other stuff, because it didn't dawn on me that it doesn't matter if. Okay, so vaccines, which Farm Huggy keeps vaccines cold for up to 8 hours. I'm not going to get into it, but farmers don't know that their vaccines are exposed, so they're not aware of the problem. And so you're trying to sell somebody something that they're not aware that there's a problem.
They're not even aware of the problem. You've got a solution for a problem they have, but they're not even aware of it yet.
And you don't think about that until you've already invented the thing. You know what I'm saying? I already had a provisional patent, maybe even a utility patent, before I realized that they don't even understand it. Even though there's other products that I'm competing with on that thing, they don't understand it. I built an invention that weans calves off, and I won't get into it. I pitched it to Tartar Gates, not realizing that I was basically undermining their entire business model if they you know what I'm saying? And you go, and you could say you're daft, but you're not.
No.
You just didn't see
Right.
the end game. You're still tumbling down the hole. It's a journey that only inventors know. You know what I'm saying? Sometimes you get lucky and it's simple and you invent, a better bottle cap. I mean, I just patented something I never saw coming, Lily, like 3 days ago.
Wow.
I called Michael. I had an idea. It's a disc. It's a 4-inch disc. You're gonna laugh about this. It's a 4-inch disc. And what I realized, did I tell you about this, Don?
No, I've not heard.
You never heard this one? Okay, all right. So
New, right?
new, right
now.
yeah, right now. Woo! Okay, so I build fence on the farm, and a guy that'd been building fence for me for literally 25 years is had some health issues, and I was like, why do fence posts, wooden fence posts, treated fence posts, why do they always, when you're fencing, they're always rotten in the center? They're not rotten on the outside. They rot in the center. Have you ever looked at an old post?
Oh, yeah.
They're not rotten on the outside. They're rotten in the center. And I was like,
Right.
why do you think? This was 20 years ago. I talked to him. I said, why do you think that fence posts are rotten in the center? He goes, I think it's bird shit. And I go, really? And he goes, yeah. He goes, they sit on the edge of the post and they poop in the middle of the post, and the bird shit is so caustic it'll take the paint off your car. So what do you think it does to a wooden post?
That makes sense.
And he goes, huh? It's caustic. It starts the rotting process in the center of the post. And so for the last couple of years, I had been building fence and putting the posts at like cutting the posts at about a 15-degree angle so that water would wash off the bird web too. And then I was also taking roofing cement, whatever you want to call it.
Mhm.
And before I painted it, I was putting a layer of rubber cement or rubber roofing cement on the tops of the post. Okay, like you've ever seen posts that probably have like tin foil on the top,
Mhm.
whatever.
I've seen those.
That's an old school way of treating a post. But we didn't realize what they were just solving a problem. They didn't actually understand what was causing the problem, and it's bird crap. Okay, and after you and you cut your post at 15 degrees, okay, now you're following, and you're driving down the driveway of so you're looking right and left. You built the fence so that the fence is on the outside where cattle are, okay, and you cut them at 15 degrees. You put driving down the driveway on both sides of the post, and you see white specks on every post because of what you designed that you fell down a rabbit hole. You now realize it was bird crap. I'll
Yep.
clean it up for you so you don't have to delete it. Bird crap. Okay. So
That is something.
so see how you step one was just like hearing Bill Ecton, my fencer, say it.
Mhm.
Step two was me solving the problem by cutting the fence at 15 degrees so the water would run it off. Okay.
Mhm.
Step three was me to
Oh
solve the
man,
problem.
we're so gonna get flagged by YouTube for that. By the way, that is I know what you're talking about. It's a 19th
Roofing cement.
century. Yeah.
Not
That
racist,
comes
is
from
it?
Yeah.
sort of. I
Is
mean,
it?
yeah. Back
Is
in the
it?
19th century, it's
Is
an
it?
old
My
brand. It's an
bad.
old brand that's not been
Roofing
around for
cement.
120 years.
Is it? Sorry. I'll get deleted. Whatever.
Oh
But
Comments
goodness.
made by Kevin Poole do not necessarily represent.
black roofing cement. Okay. All right. So whatever. And
My
and the
goodness.
third step was that. Okay.
Are
Sorry.
you a vampire? Like, how do you even know about that old paint? Oh my
I don't
God.
know. I know mom called it that. My bad. We're just
Okay,
racist
no
white
worries.
people in Winchester. Anyway, but bear with me.
Oh,
So I was like, so I went ahead and slapped a 4-inch disc. So the minimum post that you can do is 4 inches. Okay, so 4 inches should cover the interior of an 8-inch post for the most part.
Yep.
Right? You know what I'm saying? The part where the bird's gonna crap on.
Mhm.
So a 4-inch acrylic disc with a center hole with a simple hole in it, design patent, and a roofing nail, a 2-inch roofing nail with a rubber gasket, and you can for 20 cents you can put an acrylic black disc on top of your post and you sell it to fencers for $1. Okay. You know what I'm saying? It follows the rule of 5. You know what I'm saying?
I'll say they're going to
Roll
sell
of
it for
5,
$5.
20, and they're going to sell it to their customer for $2 or $3, whatever they want to.
Yeah.
Now, the only industry that's going to be affected by this invention is the fact that your posts are going to last longer for the consumer. So
True.
will the fencers want to buy? Will they take their money now? Or would they screw the fencer that needs to replace the posts in 20 years? They're going to take their money now.
Yeah.
Not
Yeah.
always.
No, because they don't care about the guy that's fencing in 30 years.
Yeah.
They're going to take their money now. They're gonna take their $2.
Cause that is I mean,
That's the game.
Yeah.
The gambit.
30 years.
And all I'm out is a 20 cent, 15-cent acrylic disc that's UV resistant, black, and it's going to get painted over anyway,
Mm-hmm.
right? And then with 2 cents worth of a roofing nail.
Hmm.
So I put the patent on the whole concept. It's a simple design.
Hmm.
But that's the latest and greatest. I'm sorry you had to listen to my racism. Thanks, Leo. Only you.
I was scratching my head when you kept saying. I was like, wait a minute.
Stop saying it, Kevin.
And then I had to, yeah. But oh well.
Why didn't you stop me like the first time?
I'm
You know,
glad
first time, yeah.
surely he said it, he won't say it again.
Oh
Wait.
goodness.
I guess
Renee,
it
are you
isn't short for
there?
anything, is it?
No,
I'm not
no.
gonna say it
It's just a really old paint brand. Like
Renee,
yeah, it's
and
not
yeah,
been
Oh,
around.
it is?
Like,
Okay, so it's a brand. I'm not at least
yeah.
sorry.
It was a
My bad.
trademark
Like
brand.
Jemima, if I say that, am I gonna get
I'm
flagged?
sure the trademark's expired. Yeah. Oh my goodness.
That's right.
Oh.
Renee, are you do you want to go up
Is Renee with us?
for your segment?
I am here. Good
Excellent.
afternoon.
Good afternoon.
Oh, wait, we didn't get the Spanx.
Yeah.
Yeah, we're gonna for Renee's
okay, yeah.
convenience, yeah.
Okay, good idea.
Okay, so what I can talk to you about is Snap, the world's first fully customizable cold snack board. Snap replaces your ice mats for your food that's on display or your ice bowls that keep your food cold when they're on display. And my invention was born out of where I live. I have spent a lifetime in food service and retail. And one of my biggest pet peeves was whenever I displayed food, there was no pretty way to display it without it getting wet or drying out if you didn't have the ice to keep it cold. So my solution was to invent the cold board. It has a cold core interior that keeps food cold while it's on display. It will remind you of like a charcuterie board, except the charcuterie board doesn't have a cold feature.
That's cool.
Thank you.
Interesting.
Are you using gel packs or gel in the board? What are you using as your
It's not a gel pack. It's a foam refrigerant, non-toxic foam refrigerant that's sealed inside the board, much like you would have sealed inside a cooler. It's hermetically sealed inside the board.
And how did you come up with this
Is
idea?
it isothermic in nature? In other words, you're just trying to hold on to the cold as long as possible?
Yeah, if you put the entire board in the freezer, at optimal is 24 hours, but at least 12 hours.
Yeah.
And then you get 8 to 10 hours of cold in a indoor environment.
That's what Farm Huggy basically is. It's except for you're not using insulation, you're just using isothermic. You're trying to hold on to the cold as long as possible.
Mm-hmm.
That's cool.
And it's reusable.
Oh yeah.
Oh yes, ma'am.
And probably machine washable and everything.
So how'd you come up with your idea, Renee?
Because I set up so many displays catering to the public. And whenever I set those displays up, if I had cold food, my only option was something ice.
And that means dripping, that means water. Yeah.
Yeah. Either your food gets wet or your table gets wet. One or the other.
Yeah. You need a drainage system. Yeah.
And either option ruins what you're trying to do, which is to make a beautiful presentation of food that people want to eat.
That's
Wow.
Yeah. That's brilliant.
Renee, what was your biggest obstacle in getting this to market?
Figuring out how to design the board so that the foam refrigerant would fit inside the board, would be inaccessible to the consumer, because you definitely do not want the consumer to have access to, even though it's non-toxic, in a food situation, you don't want unexpected or accidental access to that refrigerant. and the cost of all of that. Those were the big obstacles. I could work with the. Of course, I did have to redesign it multiple times. I feel like Dyson doing that. This is
Yeah.
about the 5th iteration of the prototype. But those were the big obstacles. I knew what I wanted, but I don't have a background in engineering or
I'd love to hear
manufacturing.
her talk about it while I'm looking at it. Can we pull it up for everybody to see?
Oh, that's a great
Oh,
idea.
that's a
Huh?
great idea.
I mean, I like your face, Leo and Don, but I'd rather listen to Renee talk about her actual product and see what it is. That's cool.
Let's take a look
How
at.
big is it, Renee?
16 inches in length, 10 inches in width,
Uh-huh.
1.5, 1 3/4 inches in height.
And okay, so you'll probably get that 1 3/4 down more and more if people want to sacrifice the isothermic effect if they want to go thinner.
Well, I don't think you can fit that inside the board and go any thinner with the
You
board.
can't go any thinner.
No.
Okay, that's cool. Can you go? But you can definitely go
Yeah.
bigger.
Oh yeah.
You're offering only one size. It's one size or bust right now.
That's correct.
I think I think you get some more out there. I mean, caterers are going to eat this up, man.
Well, let me tell you about that. We have a device that you can use that will allow you to join multiple boards end to end. That's an
Okay.
accessory.
Okay. Yeah. So you just buy more and keep, and you go any size, anything. You make your own.
Yep, that's correct.
That's brilliant. And you only got that by going down the rabbit hole, didn't you?
That's correct.
Yeah.
Hmm.
That's
I mean,
cool.
I lived the pain of not having the kind of presentation I wanted. You know, 75% of what people think about your food or anything that you're putting in front of them is what it
Oh.
looks like.
Oh, Renee,
Yeah, eat with your eyes.
I love your idea. There's nothing more disturbing. I watch these stupid videos where these people, I mean, I'm a meat guy, obviously, and I'm watching them like take how many videos out there of these steaks that are being cut? And when I'm like, and if they're serving it, I was like, if you like to eat cold steak, please do that. You know what I'm saying? Cut your steak before it goes out to the customer. You know what I'm saying? But then the same thing effect with you were talking about your board. It's beautiful. You
Yeah.
know,
Very.
Also, part of the enjoyment of the
and
steak
I
is
guess
that first
I
cut
guess
too. There's something
I
about
guess
that.
your
when you cut
size
into
really
it.
is dictated by what most people have for. This is the problem you solved, is that you went with a size in your freeze that most people can put in their freezer. Not everybody has a walk-in freezer like Kevin Poole, and not everybody
That's
has. You know what I'm
correct.
saying? So in other words, that can
Mhm.
go into your freezer and slide in the corner, the
Yep.
side of your freezer in a depth that would be fit in there. But that's and you can add more.
I actually took several prototypes to Lowe's where they sell every kind of residential freezer that you can possibly imagine and made sure that the board would work inside multiple different styles of freezers, either as a lay flat, stand up to the side, or push to the back.
I gotta ask you. I'm gonna ask a stupid question right here. How far down the rabbit hole are you? You've done this all privately funded by your friends and family, or by you initially? What have you done here?
It's all funded by yours truly.
And how deep are you into
We
this?
I have, it's not in manufacture yet, but we are at that step.
Are you looking at outside investment at all?
I'm sorry.
Are you
Yes,
looking out? Are you
outside
looking?
investment. Yes, I have taken this far, and
Alone.
in order to accommodate inventory and cash flow, I'm going to have to seek some outside investment, and that I am presently working on that.
Well, send me your
Uh,
number.
I have 2 patents already, 1 utility, 1 design, 2 more design in process that should be granted, I'm going to say within the next few months,
Is there
and trademark.
any competition out there at all?
There is competition in that there are wooden boards, and wooden boards is all I've found that allow you to insert an ice pack.
That's not the same. The wood's going to act as an
No.
insulatory to the cold pack.
Exactly.
That's correct. That's correct. And
doesn't-
nothing that I have found that has a permanent cold core interior, something permanently inside the board that holds cold as long as this foam refrigerant.
And
Interesting.
that's a plastic derivative, I'm assuming.
The refrigerant or the board,
The board. Yeah.
yes. What I have used so far is a food safe ABS.
Food safe ABS, and it's not holding back your isothermic cold at all.
Nope. Nope.
Almost like a lunch bag, like a lunch box. It's just
Yeah.
brown, not instead of clear. Yep.
There's
Renee,
one side of the board is compartmented.
I saw that.
One side of the board is flat. So you have the option to flip the board and use whichever side accommodates the style of food you're displaying. Like if you're doing meat and cheese, the flat side's fine. But if you're doing pickles, olives, things that don't need to mix, you have a compartmented side that has a round center for putting like dips and things that would be in a small bowl.
It also aids with that whole eat with your eyes thing.
Yep.
Yeah. Have you read time elapsed photography on your boards? Do you have that?
No.
Oh, that would be good. That's a good strategy.
Yeah.
Like just
Yeah,
with a
I
laser
agree.
gun, your board comes out of the freezer. You shoot it with a laser gun. You show the laser gun on the side. You watch your temperature, and you watch it until it gets all the way with the time lapse photography of it, whatnot, with it just sitting there until it gets to room temperature. That way, you know if you're getting 8 hours, 6 hours, it doesn't matter. I think at minimum, if you get 3 hours, it's all you need to sell this.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because one of the
most
big
people aren't just sitting around for 8 hours. That's a work day.
Yeah.
You know, the food should be eaten by that time
by
or
that
reloaded.
time, that's right.
Yeah.
That's right. The biggest issue with food that reaches room temperature, especially when you're dealing with meats and cheese, number one, people start to look at them like, do I really want to eat that or not?
That's exactly right.
Right.
Yeah.
And it looks like it's dead.
Get
Yeah.
You know, it just
get up.
wilts and
as
it
a-
dries.
Hey, let me make one suggestion to you. I got no dog in the fight, but I'm telling you, get a fly cover for it that's custom made too. Because if that's outside, you're fresh. Your whole idea is fresh. Just have, or obviously somebody can put a fly cover over it, whatever, but get one that coincides with it because you're already solving the problem of the heat outside. The only thing that's going to get your food outside is now the flies. I mean, obviously it's food for thought. You can either take it or you can use an existing one,
Well,
whatever, but it could be something later on down the
We
road.
have a snap-on lid
Okay.
already designed. Yep.
There you go.
Awesome.
There you go.
Well, as a millennial who stereotypically is obsessed with charcuterie, I can't wait to actually buy one.
Yeah.
This was amazing, Renee. Thank you so much
Thank you.
for
Absolutely.
showcasing this. Everybody
Thank
give
y'all
her
for
a
having
hand.
me.
Absolutely.
Thank you.
Renee, tell us about the Inspired Show. How did that go
Oh,
for you?
that was
yeah.
fantastic. That was my very first trade show. I walked away from that with the best experience. Lots of contacts, lots of
I bet.
networking. Edward and Kristen did a fantastic job of preparing all of us newbie inventors who've never done anything like that for what we could expect, how to have our materials ready, our pitches ready. It was just fantastic. It would not have been the great experience it was without their input.
Edward's
That's
fantastic
fantastic.
and a friend of the show.
Yeah.
Big friend of the show.
Can I ask her one more question?
Yeah, go ahead.
How do your pre-orders work? So if we go on your website and we pre-order,
The delivery of the board, when we put that pre-order up, it was expected to be in July. But I've got to find an investor in order to help make that happen. So we are fixing to update that pre-sale delivery date to late summer. But basically, you go online and you pre-order, and and then it will be delivered to you late summer when we get the inventory.
And when they want to come to your website and place that order, Renee, where do they need to go?
MySnapboard.com.
All right, easy enough.
Yeah.
Easy enough. Well, thank you so much, Renee.
Thank you. I
really,
appreciate it.
Really appreciate your and your integrity and the hard work I know that you go through to pull something like this off. So
Yep.
kudos to you.
Okay. Thank you.
Yeah.
Best of luck.
Enjoyed the
Absolutely.
show. Thank you.
Thank you.
Ah, thank you.
All right.
Impressive.
Absolutely. Yeah. So Leo, we got do we have time for
It's like the big
Oh,
deal.
yeah.
Hey, finally somebody
Couple
figured it
more?
out. Cold
Yeah.
side's cold, the hot
Yeah.
side's hot.
yeah, that's right.
That's a bad
You're
joke.
up,
But I
Eugenia.
remember it.
Showing my age, Don.
Eugenia's up next.
I mentioned spandex earlier. We've talked about billionaires a time or two this evening. I would like to introduce you to Sarah Blakely. Don, do you care to? Okay. I need to introduce her first. If that's okay.
Yeah.
Oh, you cut off my camera.
I'll stop the share.
There you go.
Oh,
Did you know?
you got a picture.
Sarah Blakely is someone that I aspire to. I follow her. She and I were actually born in the same year. So this is Sarah. And I talked earlier about Miss Stephanie. Stephanie wanted to be a physician. Sarah wanted to be an attorney. But her score for the LSAT was so low that she couldn't be an attorney. Her father was an attorney. And then this is Reese Witherspoon. So they're two big entrepreneurs. And I'm friends with them. You see?
What? That's terrible. Did you?
That was you all just hanging out.
And
Unbelievable.
this is on my vision board, which is actually a door in my office at home. So
I love it.
I know these two
What?
powerhouses.
They're good friends that you just haven't met yet.
Exactly. I think a lot like them. So I'm going to tell you Sarah's story. As I told you, she wanted to be an attorney. She did not get a good score on her LSAT. She started selling door-to-door fax machines. Is it pronounced Danka? Danka?
I don't know.
Because I can't even remember that much about the era of fax machines in terms of the manufacturers. But she worked for Danka selling fax.
Oh, I was just a baby when faxes were.
Yeah. She had no background in fashion or manufacturing. She attended a party. She was very successful in sales. She attended a party. She had on a pair of cream colored pants. She did not want any panty lines to show. I don't know if you men have that problem,
No, we don't.
but women do. She cut off a pair of control top pantyhose. She cut the feet off. That whole evening at the party, pantyhose just kept
Falling down.
rolling up her legs. And
She lost the control top.
yeah, she's tall.
What'd you think was going to happen?
Yeah, she's tall. She worked on a prototype for, I think, a couple of years, just constantly trying to figure out how can she make what became Spanx into what it is today. So let's talk about how successful she did make it. In 2021, it was sold for 1.2 billion for a majority stake.
Billion with a B.
Yes, to Blackstone. She does have a stake in it currently as a part of that. In 2026, she was on the Forbes list for billionaires. She is the 28th richest self-made women. Among the richest self-made women, she's ranked number 28 as of 2025.
Women only.
Women only.
Okay.
But you know, I know her.
Terrible joke.
Your good friend,
Don't read
Sarah
like
Blakely.
She's very personable. She launched it through persistence, self-funding, and direct storytelling. Her bad luck wasn't rejection. It was not fitting into the system. She says that her greatest passion is elevating women. That's why I see so much of her on LinkedIn where I follow her. She's constantly, her and Reese Witherspoon both, just very much into empowering women. But that's the story behind Spanx. She has also started a shoe line in 2024 called Sneaks. It's a high-heeled shoe. I would wear it because I was a basketball player and it's a tennis shoe that has a high heel. It's almost $400 though.
Yeah,
I'm
That's
not
an ex-
interested in a $400
yeah.
tennis shoe with a high heel. I would maybe buy it at Goodwill if someone got rid of it.
Yeah.
But she has been a guest on Shark Tank. She is married to the gentleman who eventually sold what became NetJets. So
Yeah.
she's married to an entrepreneur also, and they have 4 children.
He's really suffering.
Yeah. But she's such a good, fun person. She would get all of her friends to do the marketing for Spanx. And it was a pleasure to get to share the story about my friend.
Oh, God.
One of these days, Kevin.
Okay. I want to be there.
She and I will stop by.
What are you talking
Oh,
about?
yeah, we'll.
We're gonna
we'll
be
all
there.
be there.
What do you mean one of these days? We're gonna be there.
So I can get burgers.
We're gonna be there. I'm telling you, we're gonna be there. Don and I are gonna be like, hey, we were there at the beginning. Don't forget about us. Huh?
Oh,
So I need to ask you some questions. She didn't know anything about this industry. She was selling fax machines. What would you say the advantage point is of not knowing the rules of the industry? So for example, me work in healthcare, but I have a patent pending extension cord and I really had to knock on the door for plastic extrusion.
Oh yeah, I bet going somewhere where you're not familiar with it just to make
So how do
people
you think
see.
that helps?
I think that you are not, you don't know what's forbidden.
Yeah, it could be an
So-
advantage sometimes.
Exactly. I think that becomes a big advantage because if you don't know, if you say, well, no, you can't do that here, or you can't do it this way, or no one does this, that doesn't work. And a lot of times not knowing what I like to call so-called rules
Yeah.
is that means you're more apt to test and try and break that curve and say, okay, well, nobody's done this. Let me try this.
Think outside the box.
Thinking
I mean,
inside the box.
Yeah,
Exactly.
I think which I hope it don't sell, but it fit right into what has been happening in fashion for years.
Yeah.
I mean, of course, corset, the squeeze tuck. She just came up with a fantastic idea with the material that she was given. She was trying to accomplish something, look better, height, everything, all that, together. And she figured it out before anybody else did.
Yeah.
She went to Asheville, North Carolina, where the industry was at the time for all the manufacturing. And it was difficult to get the prototype, and it was difficult for them to work with her. There was, and the other thing was it was all men that owned the factory.
Oh, I'm sure. That's
Or
probably her
women's
greatest.
intimate apparel.
Yeah.
And there was a factory owner, and his daughters were the ones who convinced
Said,
him.
yeah, this is, you don't listen to
Yeah.
what she's saying.
Mhm.
And
You owe her a
was,
big thank you. I mean,
that was
everybody's a
just
yoga
it.
teacher now.
Yeah. Right.
that was just to get it manufactured.
Yeah.
And then she had to get it in the brick and mortar. She went to,
It was only considered an undergarment. Started, right?
correct.
Yeah.
It's expanded it since.
Yeah. Well,
I think
it's
she
gone
went
there.
to Neiman Marcus, and she convinced the buyer of Neiman Marcus to follow her into the restroom. You've probably heard this story if you followed it, but
Oh.
she did the before and after for the buyer in the restroom for her to see the Spanx. And she then was able to get into Neiman Marcus. Now, for someone who has worn Spanx, it is suffocating. I really try to avoid wearing it because it's so uncomfortable.
Really?
Yes, I would rather diet, exercise. But sometimes, when you need it, it's good in a pinch. But
Restricting
it's restricting.
Really?
There's a reason why.
things you don't know until you know.
Right.
There's a reason why Stephanie worked with tires and all that kind of stuff. She's the one that helped
I
do
didn't
the
know that it
spandex.
was.
It is
They
very
look
real.
fairly comfortable.
They do make spandex for men, in case any of you are interested.
I'm not interested.
Makes. I thought I heard, are they still using that name?
Yeah,
No, not that you need it.
Le Mans ear. On the version Le Mans ear. Come on now, the bro. Huh? When's that coming around? Kramer was onto an idea. Make your own pizza. Cook your own pizza.
I think one of the greatest rules that has been broken is in the space exploration way, with SpaceX and landing a booster rocket from space, and also launching a car to space. Recently. The guy basically said, "Well, I have a car. I don't want it anymore. Why don't I just send it to space?" And it was one of the greatest advertisements of our generation or my
Yeah.
generation. And
Absolutely.
everybody's like, "Why are you going to do this?" It's like, why not? I mean, it's my money.
Yeah, that's
And
the question.
So on that point, I can remember, not that I was alive back then, but I can remember old 1950s science fiction movies that would the old reruns, and it would be basically they would run a rocket lifting off in reverse, and it was like these rockets are landing. And I used to remember when I saw those, I always think, how absurd. No rocket could ever do that. And then we turn around and now it's happening.
One of the
Yeah.
other things is that there was a television commercial before I was born of colored TVs, and basically what they did was that they took thousands of bouncy balls in Los Angeles and just released them all into the street without they said the government said, no, you can't do this, and they just released them into the street and made sure it was blocked off first. But there was just a video of thousands of bouncy balls running down the street, hitting cars and everything. And they did it because they didn't care about the rules, and they paid the price. And the same thing, you can see the same thing with Nike, is that there's a rule in the NBA is that the shoe had to be a certain color of amount of red and white, and Nike just said, well, why don't we just pay the fine? And every single time he goes to a game, we're just going to pay the fine. And it was one of the most rule changing things for the NBA and for Michael Jordan of what he did, and changed the entire game.
Wow.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I will turn it over to the next presenter, who
All righty.
is
It's me. So yeah, this one is a series of failures. It all started in 1968 when Spencer Silver, and that is his real name, sounds like a superhero name, was working at 3M, and he was trying to make an extremely strong adhesive for aerospace. And instead, he ended up with the absolute opposite. He ended up with a very pressure sensitive, low tack adhesive that could just stick really lightly to something and then take off almost immediately. And so it was just regarded as an absolute failure. 6 years pass, and one of his colleagues at 3M, Art Fry, was using a hymnal at his church, and he kept dealing with bookmarks falling out. And he remembered what Spencer had been working on. So he applied it to a little piece of paper and used it to make a reusable, non-damaging bookmark in the hymnal. So after that, he reaches back out to Silver and he's like, hey, let's collaborate on this. So they work together. 3M tests it out and they launch it in 1977 as Press and Peel. And it's also an absolute failure. Nobody wants it, probably a branding issue. So another 3 years pass. Now it's 1980. This got started in 1968. Now it's 1980. They think, let's rebrand it. Let's do a free sample campaign, see if people like it. They did. They labeled the new product Post-it notes, and now it's for sale in over 100 countries. And I don't really know how much money it's generated, but everybody and their grandma has bought at least one set of Post-it notes. So it was like 3 failures back to back to back, and it ended up being a couple of decades really before it caught on.
Mhm.
And yeah, so that begs the question. Well, again, I said that earlier, the questions. How often do we judge ideas by the wrong criteria? I mean, this is definitely not helping in the aerospace industry, but it'll help you with a bookmark. Any thoughts on that?
Well,
Yeah, I think, it's funny when you said it was, they launched it once and it was this, what did they call it first?
Press and peel. Terrible
Press
name.
and
Sounds like
peel.
a kind of press on nail or something.
Yeah, or like a kitchen, press and seal. Isn't that like a
Yeah. Press and seal.
yeah. So you'd almost think like a kitchen product. But yeah, I almost think the branding might have had everything to do with it. I mean, the
Yeah.
product really didn't change.
I
It
think
was just
so.
what they called it.
yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. And they also did a really good campaign where they were giving them out so people could try it. Yeah.
But it sounded like 12
Yeah.
years had to pass for the light bulb to go on. Am I right? 68 to 80?
Yeah.
So in other words,
68 to 80.
the failures seem to be all in the early stages. They just sat on it for 12, or I mean, you could say maybe not even that long, 6 years. It
Yeah.
sounds like there's a time frame happened. They were just like, oh, what else can we use it for?
Right.
And
And even that only came from absolute necessity. I mean, literally, Art was in a pinch and he was like, hey, I could use Spencer's glue for this maybe. And it
I
worked.
mean,
Mm-hmm.
you spend years honing in what you want to talk about, what it can be used for. I mean,
Well, that begs the question.
everybody goes. I think
So
it's all
if
about falling down that rabbit hole.
if they changed the name earlier, would they have not had to wait from the
Prob-
60s to the 80s?
I don't
Or
think they would
was
have.
it, devil's advocate, the market
80s,
acceptance?
yeah.
80s, maybe they
Yeah.
more need.
Lap of luxury,
Yeah.
business, Wall Street.
Without a
type.
time machine, I don't know if we could ever really answer that. Yeah.
Probably a little bit of
Hmm.
both. Maybe.
Jackson, do you
Yeah.
use Post-it notes as a college student?
Sometimes we did use it in high school for books and writing annotations and stuff. I always say just people who are much smarter than I do use Post-it notes very frequently. One of the other things that I've noticed is that in every single generation of innovation or technology, with the Henry Ford, the cars, there's also the invention of the internet, the invention of AI, as we've seen that every single time it has always taken a little bit of time for everybody to catch on. And
Yeah.
you'll see either the older generation or the new generation say, this is a waste of time. I don't know why you're using this. Then they would be is that you'll see your grandparents say, this, I don't know why you're spending your time on this. This is like not that much. And now we see Twitch people making billions or millions of dollars on a little video game that they spend 8 hours a day on, and may not be useful to everybody, but it is to some people.
I like my favorite thing to go back and watch is people talking about seat belts
Mm-hmm.
and being able to drink and drive. And you
Yeah.
see those videos like,
Yeah.
he's like, "Oh,
They're infringing on
man
my
likes to have
rights.
a beer on the way home
With
Yeah.
no seatbelt.
with no seatbelt." Change is
Well,
hard.
We've also
Yeah.
seen the change of technology go quicker and quicker. With the technology and the internet, it took 15 years for it to catch on and
Yep.
increase every year. With cell phones, it's even faster. And AI's the last 5 years.
Oh gosh, yeah.
And
That's
the
gonna be
next innovation is
exponential.
going to be insane. Whatever it is.
Mhm.
And you're going to see that little
Absolutely.
hesitant of people saying, I don't really want this. And then the next 2 years, everybody's like, I'm using this right now. And
Yeah.
Right.
it's the entire industry. I see this in the entrepreneurship world where I'll see in every single pitch competition, there is somebody using AI for their their product or whatever. And it creates a bubble at first, and that bubble pops, and then it comes back.
Yep.
And you'll see it. You'll see that with this AI as well.
Well, when you have a tool, everybody wants to throw it into something. And
Well,
it'll,
speaking of tools, the other question, this one's more personable, because talking to a room full of inventors, do you all have any junk, air quotes, that you use as a tool? You know, because
like, what do you mean, something that we've invented in the past that's considered junk, or are you talking about
no,
like?
something that, or it could just be something you have. Like I'll even get the ball rolling. When I had my wisdom teeth out a long time ago, they gave me a gum irrigator. And it's actually perfect. I don't know anybody else who uses it for this. I actually use it to give water to my tarantulas because it doesn't disturb them and it puts me far away. So if they do decide to attack the water, my fingers aren't near it.
Come on, man. I'm a farmer. I do all kinds of stupid shit with stuff that I'm not supposed to do.
Everything's a tool.
Huh?
Everything's a
Everything's
tool.
a tool. when you're
Everything's a
farmer.
tool, you know?
Yeah.
I mean, zip ties and
Do
Oh,
you do you use tobacco sticks, by the way, to stake
I'll
anything?
give you an example of something I would call it junk. Uh, there's a there's a tool that was meant. It's called a gosh,
Hmm.
geez, I'll think of it in a second.
Uh-oh.
But it's normally used to put two fences together, okay? And it's called I can't come up with a name. Anyway, but you put two wires into it and it locks. Like monkey handcuffs. Okay.
Oh,
It's made by a company, whatever, and you can
it's
and you
funny.
can
I've
put
I've used it, but I've never even thought of the name. It's just the thing you use.
anyway, well that capability of a ratcheting effect of putting the wires in, I started making salt and mineral feeders. And you're like, well,
Huh.
okay, so because of the cinching effect of it, uh um and so I take cable, which is cheap, and a 55-gallon barrel, all right, which is they're just laying around. You can buy them fairly cheap because they're left over from manufacturing or soda industry or anything. They're what carries stuff around and syrup or whatever in them. And I buy them, cut a hole in them, and I put a cable system that cinches with those things around the top, which is the structure of the barrel, the main structure of the barrel. And the more weight you put into it, and the cable goes up to a tree, and I put salt in it for my cattle. And the more salt I put in it, the more cinching effect and the tighter it gets. And I get a minnow feeder for $10 when a minnow feeder costs $250.
Wow.
There's probably
Yeah.
one product that everybody uses for its unintended purpose is that it's duct tape or it's zip ties. And if you're not using enough duct tape,
Yeah. If you can't fix it with a hammer, zip ties, or a duct tape, you're not using your.
you're not using enough of it.
Exactly.
Yeah.
How about super glue?
Yeah. You gotta be
Oh,
careful
yeah.
with super glue so you don't put your fingers together. I've done that once or twice.
Good deal. That pretty much covers my segment.
All right. All right. Well,
Come up with a name of it.
let's
Yes,
see.
same.
Any questions in the chat or anything on YouTube chat?
Let's
Leo, did you
see.
see?
Just praise from Edward on Renee.
All right. Good deal. Good deal.
Absolutely.
All right. Well, any parting thoughts? Jackson, you got any parting thoughts?
I think the biggest thing for me is just one of the hardest things that entrepreneurs go through is that everything while you're doing it seems like it sucks. And just stick with it. And one day you'll get it. And I'm sure some of these people in this room have gone through that and have gotten the achievements that they want to get to. I have not gotten there yet. I'm still a college student. One of the things that is the biggest sucky part of for me is college. But pushing through those classes and getting that degree, and I will get there one day.
Yeah, the cart's kind of in front of the horses for you right now, but
Yeah.
that's okay.
Yeah.
The bug is bitten you apparently. Now you
Mhm.
gotta deal with it.
So if somebody wants to check out the Transy entrepreneur group, is there any place they can go or?
Not necessarily right now. We're all really slowing down with the midterms coming up.
Oh,
Midterms and finals. And generally the winter semester is very slow, but we'll start picking up back in the fall.
All right.
Yeah.
Cool. Good deal. Kevin.
Yeah, I'm gonna keep pushing on. I should be launching here pretty soon.
All right. I want to be there for the ribbon cutting.
Yeah, you're gonna bring the TV
Nice.
cameras.
Yes.
Charge.
Make
Yeah.
sure you invite.
I will. I'll
Yeah.
get you there.
We want to be there.
It's gonna happen very soon, and I'm gonna make some noise, hopefully, change things. And, yeah, I'm pretty excited about it.
And if they want to check out hemp
Yeah.
cattle, where do they need to go?
HempCattleCompany.com, all spelled out. First ever hemp fed beef in the world. Like I said, I use a plant called Sun Hemp, which is a plant-based protein that I believe to be the new alfalfa. Is a great way to describe it. Lots of other inventions went into the system that the beef is that make it what it is. But check it out; it's all on the website.
And you're going to be at the Central Kentucky Home Show.
I
at
am.
the Innovation Station.
I am. I'll have my beef there with me in some form or fashion. Probably cooking samples if you're interested in coming and trying hemp-fed beef. Tasting is believing.
You bringing a cow with you?
No cows.
Hmm.
They don't.
Just on toothpicks.
Just on toothpicks. I guess yeah. And yeah, so if you want to check it out down there, I'll be talking about it in any form or fashion with other inventors. So
All right. Cool. Eugenia, any parting thoughts?
Yes, you can find me at eugeniakelly.com because when your mother names you Eugenia,
wait, you have your own website of your name?
absolutely.
That's
You
fantastic.
gotta love that.
You
Unbelievable.
will find on eugenia.com that my product is launching soon. I will also be at the Innovation Station at the Central Kentucky Home Show. I'm doing a run of 50 in quantity of a box cutter that I've designed, and one of our members in Sure helped me with making it. I have a quote from Sarah Blakely
Oh, here we
to
go.
end for me. She said, "I did not have the most experience in the industry or the most money, but I cared the most."
Hmm.
Put your picture up again.
Leo, what do you say?
Really, just analyze all those quote unquote failures and learn from them. That's the big thing.
Yeah, absolutely. All right. Well, thank you all so much for joining us. And as we alluded to earlier, we're going to be, we have something we call the Innovation Station. And in the Innovation Station, what we have is a group of inventor entrepreneurs that have all done runs of their product, small runs of the product. They're already in production, and they're at a home show. We've done them at the state fairs before, and they actually get to sell product and interact with the customer one-on-one. So we're going to be doing that again at the Central Kentucky Home Show, April 10th through the 12th. We may have a surprise on the next Inventor Friday involving that. We're still working on the details. But we definitely, if you want to join us for that, the details will be coming up on our site very soon. And as well as if you want to be a sponsor, we're looking for sponsors. So call me. So other than that, our next open meeting is going to be on April the 7th and our next workshop on April the 14th. So be sure and watch your email inbox for things like that. And all the other cool stuff we'll be sending you. Again, thank you so much for spending your Friday evening with us. And we hope to see you in the next meeting, workshop, or on the next video.
Have a great weekend, everybody. We'll see you.
Thanks, Don. You the man.